Hello everyone, we are back again to another exciting episode with Dilip Pinto sir. Dilip Pinto sir is again on the show 2 weeks in a row, and it is our pleasure to have him with us again. And he is an expert in his field of corporate behavioral and soft skills development, and he has done extremely well in his career so far of 24-year long career. And he has coached over 61,000 individuals, various coming from various industries like pharma, aviation, healthcare, and so on. So today we have with us Mr. Dilip Pinto, the legend himself. Dilip sir, how are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. And thank you once again. We're on episode two, as we call it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to share some of the inputs which we missed and we couldn't have it last week. But it's good to have continuity in there.
Okay. Yes, sir. So the first question I have with me is for you is related to role models, and the you have had a stellar career influencing and mentoring countless professionals. Could you share with us who your role models and mentors have been and what drives you in your work?
Okay. Yeah, this is a very, very interesting question also because uh, I actually wanted to pay tribute to all those who have helped me to advance in my career. Uh, Of course, I was very inspired by my teachers in school. I still remember Miss Budrani, who used to teach us English, as well as Mrs. Kalyani. And as I mentioned last episode also, since I lost my dad at a young age, I actually what happened was one of my teachers, that is Mrs. Kalyani, she told me, she took me out after I rejoined school after my dad's death after a few days. And she gave me a very nice and encouraging pep talk. She said that, Dilip, uh, allow this tragedy that has befallen you to affect you. And I actually, it was a resilient sort of thing. And I bounced back from the troubles that we had gone through 6 months because my dad was suffering from blood cancer. So at that time, people actually did not know what it is all about. So we also were, economically as financially as well as mentally drained by this whole illness. And she actually came out once she finished her class, and she gave me a very nice pep talk. So that was the time actually first the seeds of getting into the field was sown in me. And thereafter, as I mentioned last week, I secured admission to Mitibai College also. There also we had one teacher in 11th and 12th who used to teach us French. I don't know why people used to feel that she is very dictatorial and authoritarian, and nobody was actually going close to her because the moment they would see her coming, our students used to run on the opposite side. But I was one person who could actually walk up to her, and she also one day called me and she told me that you are doing very well, you're very sincere, this, that. And so I felt that somewhere along the way, these are things that were actually bringing me towards the profession. And I was very inspired by, especially by my teachers in the degree college when we were studying chemistry at Mitibai College, because I think, as I mentioned last week, I am one of those few God's favorite children who got the best of faculties from Bombay at that point of time when we were studying. We had been, most of those were had actually written the books for our Bombay. And I remember Principal Bastana of our Midway College, plus Principal, Vice Principal Chawate, then Professor Baliga, Professor Mohandas, Shisha, Dr. Nabar, Dr. Dowde. So all who were virtually the best of the city and were actually teaching us. So I think I was privileged, and that was the time I was actually, and Professor so quite a few of them, and I was quite inspired looking at the way they used to teach, and they used to make those very, very, like chemistry with those equations, and it's quite boring, but the way they used to teach us, I had a love for the subject. So all those have actually contributed to my getting into the profession. And subsequent, and as you said, the main thing that came in was how my life took a different path. After I completed SYBSc, I fell sick because we used to play cricket at near the Jamnabai Nursery school ground. And by having that water. It was actually polluted water from that Gola and Sharbat. The very next day, I landed into hospital because I was having very severe abdominal pain, and it could not be diagnosed because the doctors had given some painkiller, etc. But what happened was the tablet which I had taken had unfortunately got stuck in my abdomen and it was showing like this. So when the X-ray was taken, the doctors thought that possibly in my childhood I might have swallowed a coin and somewhere along the way it gave trouble, and that is the reason of that abdominal pain. But this news, of that coin unfortunately reached my friends in the society. And after I came back from hospitalization, they all said, no, no, there is a shortage of coins now in Bombay because it seems like you have swallowed all the coins. Actually, it was not a coin, but it was only a tablet which had got stuck, but the X-ray showed it in such a manner, so it appeared like a coin. So one day I was taking a walk in the hospital passage, and my co-patient who was in the other bed at Holy Spirit Hospital, he just asked me like, Dilip, what do you want to become in life? So I said, Uncle, I've been very inspired by my teachers, whether it is at school or college. I always feel that, one day I should be standing there and people should be in front of me and listen to me. So I think that, but I said, unfortunately, see, teaching is not a well-paid profession in our country at this point of time. So he said, you don't look so demoralized. What you do is you complete your graduation as you're doing. After that, you study post-graduation, and then you start teaching management to people, which is itself lucrative as well as it will put you in a field which you actually like. So I think that was while many consider it as a misfortune, when you fall sick, etc. I consider myself to be very fortunate that I fell sick, because otherwise possibly I would have been, just stuck with those chemicals only in the laboratory, or either as a medical rep or a QC chemist, etc. So that once again, this is maybe possibly God's child. So this actually happened to me, and my life took a different path. Then when I started working also, I was exposed to some of the best management brains of the country, like Mr. Ashok Sharma, who I always call as my guru, ex-vice president of Pidilite Industries, and formerly with Blue Star when he actually recruited me. And then there's Mr. Leslie Rebello, was the GM of the makers of Parachute Oil, Bombay Oil Industries. So these two have been my strong mentors. And of course, I can never forget my ex-boss. Actually can't call him a boss because he was more like a mentor and a friend to me rather than a boss. When I relocated from Abu Dhabi to Bombay, as I mentioned last time, I didn't come actually to seek a job. But there are so many things I learned from him that I'm forever grateful to him, that for that short stint of about 1.5 years I was there, I learned the importance of discipline, punctuality, time management, writing a diary, streamlining things, prioritizing work, etc. I'm so in such a way that I was able to take on responsibilities also, because once he told us that I'm going to Sabrimala for a very short pilgrimage trip, he said, I'll be back after 4 days. Forget 4 days, he didn't come after 4 weeks also. So then I learned a lot of plus that I left the organization. Right now, Mr. Chandran is based in Bahrain, but I regularly exchange greetings with him, etc. And I said, as I said last time also, I'm very grateful to Mr. Chandran for playing actually a key role in my progress and development. And afterwards, of course, I got into training, and then, looking back, Mr. Mayur Maru, who was with the makers of that swastika soap, etc. He was the first person who gave me my break for this company called Midco, which manufactures this petrol pump. At the petrol pump, you get those dispensers which are used for filling petrol. So other than L&T and Midco, these are the two big players who make those dispensers. So Mr. Maru was the HR advisor of Midco. So he gave me my first break, and after that, recommended me into that and jewelry, then Kama Jewelry, etc. So these are some of the people who have played a great role in molding and shaping. So I never forget my teachers, whether they're at school, college, post-graduation level, because post-graduation level also we had Mahadevan sir at NMIMS, who had this splendid art of turning, a boring subject like business law into a very interesting subject. So I actually asked him that, sir, I want to get into training as a career. So what is the one secret that you would like to tell me? So he said, there are many people who know how to make an interesting subject boring. but there are very few who know how to make a boring subject interesting. So you channelize all your skills towards being in that category. So you must have seen how I teach business law. So now at NMIMS also, we are, as I said, very good professors like him and Mr. Narin Chandan, who was formerly the advisor of Trump. So I've grown with some of the best people. I'm very thankful to God as well as all my teachers for molding me. And that is what actually I nowadays try to inspire in the youngsters, that never forget the institution and the teachers who have made you whatever you are. Maybe you may progress great deal in your career, but at the end of it all, don't forget whoever has taken you to that level.
Great story, sir. Amazing. Sir, so what I noticed in that story is you were abroad for I don't know how many years, but you were abroad. But so, can you tell about going abroad, Indians going abroad in general? There's a growing trend in Indians seeking opportunities abroad. What are your thoughts on this? And could you share some examples of people you know who have made this transition?
See, one of the things that is generally in our country, we take things for granted. So when you actually go abroad, you learn the importance of discipline, you learn to become independent. Your interpersonal skills also get honed because as since you mentioned I went abroad, so one of the best things I learned abroad was I dealt with people of different nationalities. Like for example, Sri Lankans, Filipinos, Chinese, Sudanese, Egyptians, you name it, Jordanians, French, etc. So what happens when you continuously work with people from different countries, etc., it hones your interpersonal skills a great deal. And of course, simultaneously learn about different cultures as well. Uh, while see, there are it is a mixed bag actually, because I know people who have actually gone abroad and even come back. I am one of those categories also.
Yeah.
So, but I feel if you really want to learn discipline in life and all those things, no prioritization, etc., for a short period of time, you must go at least go abroad because you learn all these qualities only when you are in a different country.
Okay, sir. Good. Sir, can you talk about a little bit about time management and punctuality? Because time management and punctuality are often highlighted as crucial for success. How important do you think these skills are, and what tips would you give for mastering them? Time management
Yeah,
and punctuality.
okay. See, as I mentioned, I was fortunate enough that I came under the mentorship of Mr. E. Chandran uh, from the Executive Search Firm, the Right Connection. And he had a terrific ability to ensure that everything is prioritized well. Like, initially when he told that in the diary, write which appointments you have at what time, etc. I used to feel it very boring because I used to say that possibly I've never done this exercise. So why, because I always, even today also, I have uh, uh, feel that, my memory is so good that I really actually don't require to physically write something. But today I feel the importance of that because uh, after so many years also, if somebody asks me that, sir, 5 years ago, where were you at this point of time? I have understood that, okay, I can with precision tell that person, see, 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I was doing this, etc. So the importance of writing a diary and etc. And then Mr. Chandran also told us that whenever you're meeting somebody, just write some bullet points about that person because we were interviewing people. And it's very difficult to remember each and every candidate, what their qualities are, etc. So afterwards, what happened was when we used to go for recruitments, it became so easy for me because I knew, okay, this person has taken maximum interest and has jotted some points. So one of the important things one is to remember is, planning, etc., writing a diary so that you know how you constructively spend your time also. And I still remember because, as I said, he was very, very strict about time. And I was working at an office at Fort. The building had two roads which would come towards that building. And one day I saw him in front of me. So what I did was, since I was good in athletics, I ran from the other road. I managed to reach before him, and I sat down on my chair, and he came in and said, "Good morning." I said, but I was panting. So he immediately said, "मेरे को देख के लगता है भाग के आया." But that I learned a very important lesson. The second time, similar incident happened, but he was very close to the building. So now there was no way that I could overtake him. So he went ahead, and I came behind him and he said, "Good morning." And he was just maybe about a meter away from me. And he said, "Good afternoon." So that was the time I understood the importance of time management, etc. So he used to always say one thing That's why I said I'm very grateful to Mr. Chandan because he used to say that a person who cannot work in 8 hours, if you don't prioritize well, will not even be able to work in 14 hours also. So 10 o'clock in the morning we start, 6 o'clock definitely our office would close. 5:35, 5:40 the PC was switched off so that it will cool. Then we just cover it and 6 o'clock the lights were off and we rather 5:50, not even 6 o'clock. Our last appointment was at 5 o'clock so that in case there is a spillover by 5:45 we have to close the office and leave. So that is the reason like I'm very particular about these small aspects. Even when I go for my training, I reach much before time. And this is one thing I have actually learned from Mr. Chandran. And sometimes when he had asked, some time ago, he had asked me, what are you teaching people? So I said, I'm only teaching them what I learned from you. So he said, thank you very much. I'm happy that whatever I taught you, at least now you are teaching the importance of time management and punctuality to people.
Great, sir. Amazing. Sir, do you have friends? And what is the role of friends in life? What's friends play a significant role in our lives, both professionally and personally. How do you see the role of friends and how have they impacted your journey?
The friends are very, very important in everyone's life. I feel we may not have too many friends, but we should have a close circle of friends who are there with you in good as well as bad times. See, every year on the 14th of January, on Makar Sankranti, we assemble on the terrace. Some of them have gone to different places. We generally don't like kite, but we still relive our memories of childhood. And every year we laugh over those same things over and over again. So my one of my close friends, he said also that every year our topic is centered around these anecdotes and incidents which have taken place when we were maybe just 12 or 14 or 15. But we love, to relive those memories over and over again. So as I said, 3 or 4 friends one should always be there because in good times as well as bad times they are required and they are actually required whenever there is a medical crisis or something. And I remember even when my mother was hospitalized, my friends and all, they were very compassionate towards me and asking me that should we stay behind, you want to rest, etc. So one should have, you may not have many, but at least some 3 or 4 good friends who will stay by you in good as well as bad times. See, in good times, there are many people like who come as acquaintances and well-wishers, but the real one is one who will be by your side when you really require them, when you are going through a bad time.
Okay, sir. Sir, what are the key qualities for success? From your experience, what are the key qualities or traits that you believe contribute to professional success?
I think I can definitely say there is no shortcut to success
Okay.
because there is this concept what nowadays people say of smart work, etc. On that. Even last week I said that you might watch YouTube, you might watch this, that, but unless and until you really have good interpersonal skills and the ability to communicate well, that is one of the and I've seen people they actually don't pay too much attention to these factors because they feel academic brilliance is more than enough. But they might be academically brilliant, but unfortunately their interpersonal skills and communication skills, etc., are poor, and time management and all these. There are some very important traits like decision making, communication skills, the ability to work with people, etc. So these are all required to hone one's personality so that you can actually achieve professional success and you can do it much faster than the others because if you what is ultimately what is the your success measured by your ability to get along with people and get work done through them also. So that is what is actually required.
Okay, sir. So balancing work and personal life is also crucial. So in today's fast-paced world, balancing work and personal life can be challenging. How do you manage this balance and what advice would you give to others?
I feel everybody should have a hobby of themselves because if you don't have a hobby then what happens is you are not able to actually go through life in a balanced way. You must have a hobby, and as far as possible, you must ensure that that hobby challenges you, it enhances your creativity, and all those things. Now, for me, if you ask me, how do I manage it? Uh, like, unfortunately, the tragedy because of the death of our dog, we didn't get another pet at home. So now I care a lot for the strays in our area, whether they are cats or dogs. So whenever people see us, our son is also a great animal lover. So whenever people see us on the road, they actually fear the dogs and cats, but they're wondering why they come to him. They don't know why actually. the kind of love and affection you show towards the animals. Because I always say our job now is to care for the uncared. So even there are these birds in our area. So we have a myna, then we have the jungle mynas, then we have crows, of course, there, sparrows, the pins, and whatnot. So quite a few birds,
Squirrel?
bulbul, yeah, squirrel as well. Yeah. So that was, so all of them, I keep myself occupied like that in whatever free time I get. So that is the reason you see, I don't have any wrinkles on my forehead, etc. So Ghanaian people can unfortunately can't send their anti-wrinkle cream to me because I am well versed with all these things. So I balance myself well by uh, taking the best out of it. And during my work also, during the programs, I try to play music to de-stress people so that I
Yeah.
speak also. So that's one of the best ways I feel that you can de-stress also.
Sir, do you play any instrument, any musical instrument?
No, unfortunately, I had a great vision and that I should one day play the keyboard, but I have not really got into it.
Okay.
But maybe at a later age.
Okay. Okay, sir. So one last question for you today is advice for young professionals. Finally, what advice would you give to young professionals who are just starting their careers?
See, one best advice I can always tell them is at the start of your career, what you learn is more important than what you earn, which I always tell them. So you should learn to become a specialist, and then automatically don't make money as your sole, first priority in life. Because if you just keep money and start equating money as that, if I get more money, that means etc. So it doesn't happen that way. So the best thing that one has to remember is that in case you are able to learn a lot at the beginning. Like as I told you, in my first job, I was only collecting information. In fact, I took about knowledge from here there before I actually launched into my real training career. So, and we had this experience when I went to Pfizer. So the person had already identified. They were looking for a director personnel from and wanted our help in headhunting. So that person had already told me 1, 2, 3. If any of these 3 persons agrees, only then they will bring them to us. Otherwise, we are not interested. So what it means that see today even the client, they also do their homework and they've already identified whom they want. So I always tell the youngsters, you may not join a high-flying big organization. It is my guidance and two sentences of wisdom is better to be a fish in a fish tank, goldfish in a fish tank, rather than become a goldfish in an ocean. So when you're a goldfish in a tank, you will learn a lot. But when you're in a goldfish in an ocean, you'll just possibly be centralized in one department only and for the rest of your life. So when you are in the smaller operations, you learn a lot. So it is better to, as I say, to have 20 years experience, that is 1 + 1 + 1, which is equal to 20. Rather than join a very, very large organization so that 1 multiplied by 20. So what you have learned in the first year, the same thing you are repeating for 20 years.
Yeah.
So my advice to youngsters has always been, don't aim for money as the first, high packages I want, etc. to tell them, or tell them that, I'm working with XYZ organization also. Start with a smaller organization, learn the tricks of the trade, hone on your skills, job will automatically come to you. You do not rush to a job.
Amazing, sir. Amazing session with you, sir. So thank you, sir, for sharing your invaluable insights and experiences with us today. It's been an enlightening session, and I'm sure our viewers will find your advice incredibly beneficial. We look forward to having you again on the podcast. Until next time, sir, I'll see you again, sir. Thank you very much for coming,
Thank
sir.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, and my pleasure. And it has always been wonderful interacting with you. And I hope the youngsters also take message when they watch this podcast of us.
Amazing, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.